Opening statement from Coach Collins, and we'll go into questions.
Well, I mean, it was tough to lose tonight. I thought our guys really responded from what happened Sunday, where we got handled pretty good by Minnesota, and I was really proud of our guys for the way they responded tonight. I thought the effort, the fight, all those things were there at a really high level. Thought we did some good things. Every time they tried to get a little separation from us in the game, I thought we kept fighting back and kept ourselves within distance. Certainly you got to give credit to Williams, Griffin shooting, really kind of opened up the game for them. And his 24, D'Souza's going to get his points because he's a terrific player. Thought we did a good job on Frazier, a good job on Feliz. But the X factor tonight was certainly Griffin's 6 threes, which gave them the separation they needed. So, tough loss. I think our guys have shown they're going to keep fighting, and it's definitely frustrating because I know there's a lot of guys that are putting a lot into this, and just haven't been able to get over the hump. But I like the way we played tonight. There's always going to be mistakes, but I thought there were a lot of positive things and certainly things we have to improve on as we move forward.
Hey Chris, I thought he showed some good signs tonight. Where is he kind of in this road?
Yeah.
Inside player, outside player?
I think it's a great question. I've been really proud of Pete the last few weeks. I think everybody knows Pete had his struggles. Earlier this season, early in the conference season, probably lost a little bit of confidence. And I've been really proud of the way he's just gotten the gym and worked. He's doing more than he ever has. He's working on his game. He's trying to evolve. To answer your question, I think he's got kind of a unique skill set. So I want him to be a guy that's versatile. I want him to be a guy that can go out on the floor and make threes and drive the ball from the top of the key, but also if he's guarded and they switch things where he can go down in the post and score and get some fouls down there. I think ultimately, that's the kind of player we want him to be. I think his attitude's been really good. I think he's in double figures, maybe 3 of our last 4 games. Which is real growth because he had a little stretch where he was really struggling. So. I'm pleased with kind of where he's at, and I think he knows as well, like, it's not just an overnight deal where you just, you work out a couple times and then you're magically the player that you want to be. It's going to be a process, and it's going to be continued work and continued added strength and skill development and maturity and experience and all those things. But I feel like the last 3 or 4 games, he's started to show some really good signs, which is encouraging.
After Minnesota, you mentioned practice on Tuesday and how important that was going to be. So how was practice on Tuesday? How do you feel like you guys did make the adjustments off Minnesota?
Yeah, I just thought more than anything. I mean, losing's going to take its toll on anybody. I mean, we're all human, and especially when you know that you're investing a lot. It's just human nature, man. When you come every day and you work really hard and you watch film and you do everything the coaches ask and you come up short, that's hard. It's hard, and it's certainly taken its toll on all of us because we're all competitive and we all want to win. And I was really worried after Sunday about these last 4 or 5 games, not continuing to be the team that really I feel we've been all year long. To throw aside the wins and losses, like this team has really fought. They pick themselves off the mat, they come back, they have good attitudes, they keep working, they keep fighting. They've stayed together. It's not an easy thing, and I know people are tired, but there are a lot of guys that are just going through this for the first time. And in the league this year, it's a relentless league this year. I mean, there's just a lot of really good teams that are experienced, veteran, well-coached teams that you got to go through some growing pains, and we certainly have. And I thought we came back after Minnesota, and I thought guys were really good. We met a little bit about how we wanted to finish this thing out, how we wanted to continue to show growth, how we wanted to continue to fight, and try to find a way to find a few wins that we could along the way, but also to set ourselves up. This has been a real growth year for us. I mean, there's no secret in that. Everybody saw that when our roster was assembled to start the year. So, you know, it's about these guys using this experience and getting better from it, and every game matters, you know, not just saying, man, I'm gonna wish this last 4 or 5 games away. Every game is a key part of your development, and I was proud of how we came back tonight. You know, I thought we got down, 14, 16, I mean, we could have laid down, we didn't. We kept fighting, we got it to 7, we were down 11 early in the first half, we scored 6 straight points, we got it to 5. Like we played all the way to the end, and that's all that I'm asking these guys to do, you know, with our remaining games.
Coach, you mentioned Alan Griffin and the 6'3s. Still seemed like the second half you lost him on defense a few times.
We did.
Is that just more of a, you're focusing on Belize and Frazier, and if Griffin makes 6'3s, it's tip your cap, or is that just more breakdown?
I thought a couple times it was us, you know, we were mixing defenses a little bit, and, you know, we had a miscommunication on 2 of them, where a couple guys were in zone and a couple guys were man, and we lost them up the sideline. You know, I thought he got loose a couple times. He got loose, like maybe off of post passes where, you know, you're digging in off Kobe's post, and then their dribble penetration. You know, when they get downhill, it forces you to have to get in what we call scrambles. You know, where somebody's got to help take the ball, and then you're in rotation. And you know, I thought they did a good job moving the ball and kind of finding him. So I thought it was a combination of all those things. He got a couple threes against our zone, but give him credit. You know, I mean, that's what good teams do is, you know, on a night where Frazier doesn't give him as much, Felice doesn't give as much, he steps up and gives him 24 big points and helps them win.
Pat Spencer obviously had a terrific performance tonight. What has he meant to your team this game and throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a bunch. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he's never played college basketball. I mean, if people don't realize how remarkable what he's doing, I mean, it's really an incredible thing. I mean, for someone at this level, I mean, everyone talks, the Big Ten is as good a league as there is in college basketball. I mean, they're talking about almost 12 teams going to the NCAA tournament, and this guy comes out at the guard position and to average double figures and to get the assists and to play with the poise and what he's done. You know, he's been far better than I even thought he was going to be, because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know. I knew he was super competitive and really cocky. So I knew he was going to bring that, which I thought that alone was going to help our young guys. But he's also been a really good basketball player, and it's been great having him. You know, and like I told him, I know we're all frustrated that the wins aren't there and as competitors, but I think, you know, he's going to take great pride in watching our young kids grow. You know, and know that kind of some of the seeds he planted with teaching these guys, you know, in terms of fight and competitiveness and work ethic and things you need. He's added a lot to our program behind the scenes, and I think he's going to take a lot of pride when he watches us, you know, when we get back, which we are. I mean, these guys are going to do it, man. There's not a doubt in my mind that this core group of guys is not going to become a really good team. You know, it's just, we're going through a tough time, and, you know, a lot of teams, Illinois went through it last year. Penn State went through it last year. Rutgers went through it last year. And all 3 of those teams are going to the tournament this year. So there's some great examples for us of teams that have had to go through similar type deals, playing a lot of young kids in a relentless league and getting your head kicked in a little bit and having to figure it out and getting better and learn how to win. And that's what we're going to do.
You mentioned the guys are human. Tonight you had a full house out there because a lot of orange in the stands. I mean, was that kind of does that have an impact on the guys? Does it feel like a road game or anything like that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like I've always said, you take care of what you can control. You know, you go out and you do your best and you win. You know, when we won, this place was rocking. A lot of you guys were here. You know, we had like Jim Nance said it was one of the 5 best environments he's ever been in when we played the last home game in here in Purdue. So we just got to win. I mean, there's no gimmicks. You got to get better. We got to do our part and put a good product on the floor. And I mean, I remember being in Utah, and I mean, there was Arizona in the tournament. Arizona was there. St. Mary's was there. Vanderbilt was there. It wasn't even close who had the most fans. It was us. So that stuff takes care of itself, you know. And we just have to control what we can control, and that's playing good basketball and putting a product on the floor that people want to support.
Piggyback off the Pat Spencer question. I mean, it's such a unique scenario where he came from and it's maybe impossible to project, but because he's a freshman almost in basketball sense, because he's a grown man. So if he had 4 years in a college basketball program, can you get a sense of what he could have accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, I think he would have been a really good player. I mean, just because
Yeah.
athletically, I mean, he's really strong. His explosiveness. There really are people. I mean, I've been fortunate kind of growing up, being down south. Like, I was around lacrosse a lot. I was, being at Duke where they have a national championship program. I'd watch their games. I'd watch them practice. I knew their coaches really well. So I was really familiar with the similarities. There's a lot of similar movements. There's a lot of similar, type things with quick explosive movements, lateral bursts, physical, things that do correlate from both sports. And I mean, he was such a freak of nature on that lacrosse field as an athlete. So for him to come and now what he's done, which has been, he's really learned, he's gotten better and improved this year as a player. He's gone from someone who, was kind of a whirling dervish and kind of attacking all the time to now kind of learning how to pick and choose his spots and be a little bit more of a playmaker. And I think he's gotten better. He's gotten in better shape. He's gotten in more basketball shape. And but to answer your question, I mean, he's done a great job for us. If he would have fully done basketball, there's no reason why, to me, he couldn't have been, an upper echelon, high major Big Ten guard.
Last one.
Coach, you guys beat Illinois here last year. They won this year. How big of an advantage is it when you go into recruits' houses, when you talk about playing against Illinois and beating them?
Well, I mean, I think it's something that we're aspiring to have. I think when you want to have rivalries, both teams need to be good, and we're working towards that. They've done a really good job. They kind of got through some of their struggles, and Coach Underwood's done a terrific job and has gotten a good group in there, and they've had a terrific year this year. And a lot of success, which has gotten a lot of excitement around their program, just like we had done, in the last couple of years as well, and we're kind of in rebuild mode now. So I think the best part about rivalries, if you want to have a good one, is both teams are really good, because that's when you have really high-level games. We've had some real good games against these guys, some overtime games last year in Big Ten tournament overtime. Turner hits a 3 last year to win. We played them really tough earlier this year. It was a one-possession game. So we always have a hard-fought battle. It's something that, as we're building our program, they have a lot of tradition. They have a lot of success. They have a lot of winning. And we're trying to get to a point where, we can be viewed as a rival. And we have work to do with that. We have to continue to get better and improve. But I think it's a great game. When you have 2 in-state teams in a conference, I think it's why we really push to have a game played 2 times every year. I think it's good to try to build something, and hopefully it can become even better. If we can do our part, I know they're going to continue to get better and do their part, and that's what makes for really good games and really good rivalries. Thanks, Coach. All right, thanks, guys.
Jim, I want to say, I'm tired of having I remember talking about your memory strings in the back of Champagne. I was one of the walk-on. So I just want to say hi. Yeah, I was team. So I want to say hello. Thanks for coming out. Yeah. So fortunate. Covering a good team. Yeah, it's fun for a change. It was 6 years since the tournament, so we're back to the back. Good to see you. Good luck with everything, too.
Yeah, he's over here.
and Mike's on either side of you, and we'll start with questions for Pat Spencer.
Pat, you keep having these really close games where you're just a couple of points away or keeping things high. How close do you guys think you are to turning the corner?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like that all year. You know, I feel like tonight we didn't necessarily have them up by a bunch, but it felt like anytime we made a run, we just weren't able to close the gap fully. Earlier in the year, it felt like we blew some leads. Kind of been the consistent theme for us throughout the year, finding the way to close that gap or close games down the stretch. And, you know, we are a young group, but at the end of the day, we got to find a way to get over that hump.
Coming off the Minnesota game, can you describe the past 4 days, what the team has been like trying to respond off that?
Yeah, you know, I think that's a down game. You know, I think that's one of those you just try to just sweep under the rug. It's something that you'd like to forget. Obviously, learn from a lot of those mistakes, but we didn't have the right energy for that game, and that definitely wasn't the team that we're proud to say we are. And so, you know, I think Coach really wanted to emphasize getting back to having fun a little bit and really locking in on the details. And you know, I felt like we had a great week. We did a lot of the things that we wanted to do. We just again weren't able to close that gap and finish the game.
What do you think of Boo as a player and as a guy? What's it like to be around him?
Yeah, I've loved being on him. Him and I are wired a bit the same mentally. Really competitive kid and someone I've enjoyed being with the whole year. He's gonna have an heck of a career. He's got a great skill set and he's got all the intangibles. I just think he's gonna continue to grow. He's got a great staff here to help him do that and people that want to push him and can't say enough about him. I've enjoyed being with him.
What was he doing during that stretch where he had those 51 points in 2 games? Where it's kind of eluded him since then. I know there was an injury, but what else?
Yeah, I think whenever you're out that long, the team kind of reinvents itself over that long stretch, and so I think he was forced to kind of jump back in the lineup and figure out where his shots would come in and where his kind of flow would end up, and so that's not easy to do for anybody. I don't necessarily think he was blamed on the injury. I just think it's more so trying to find that rhythm again. He was shooting lights out during that stretch, and so I think a bit of that is a little overdone. I think he's capable of having those kinds of games consistently. I just think finding a way to do that within the offense has been his biggest challenge getting back. But he's a heck of a scorer. He'll be able to adjust it. He'll get back.
Pat, you mentioned before, aside from the Minnesota games, you guys have been scrappy. You fought back. You made runs to stay in it. What's the mindset of this team going into the last 2 weeks or so of this regular season?
I think we're looking to the next game. We haven't really talked about the Big Ten tournament or anything like that down the stretch. The next game is Nebraska, and whether people think so or not, it's a big one for us. We know what that means for the standings, and as a prideful group, we want to make sure that we come out of that game with a win. And so we're going to lock in these next few days. Obviously, get some rest tomorrow, and really grow from what we had today, but at the end of the day, we're focused on that next game, Nebraska, and really want to come out with a W.
Pat, Chris just said that as an older guy, you're teaching behind the scenes in terms of fight and competitiveness. What exactly are you trying to teach the young guys about that they don't know?
I think it's a bit innate. I think it's kind of in your nature, and I think it feeds off of. I think guys just feed off of it. I think it's not necessarily me teaching. I think it's more so just my being. It's just kind of who I've been my whole life competitively, and so I think when we talked, that's something he wanted me to bring into the locker room, and that's just something that I naturally have. I guess I compete and I want to win, and so just try to bring that every day for these guys and set an example, and hopefully it carries over to some more wins next year for them.
There's no one-on-one talks with them about it or anything?
Occasionally, I think more so just some teaching points here and there, but at the end of the day, I think guys pick up on certain things, and hopefully they see the good in that and want to follow it. And we have some great practices where maybe I do start getting a little chippy and start talking, and sometimes the energy picks up a little bit there. So just trying to set the example there from time to time, and just honestly, he just wanted me to be myself.